And it's another one of these things. It's Dan, and I'm actually feeling the best I've felt in quite some time. So I'd share that. Gosh, I had some things I wanted to talk about this morning, and and do I remember any of them now? No, not really. Let's see. I guess I should start with where I am and what time it is, because that always seems to make these a little more make a little more sense. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm in a little park that I should really know the name of, because I've been here countless times. It's kind of a place I like to just relax and reflect. It's a funny little hidden oasis in the heart of the city, but I don't know the name of this park. I'll try to put it. I'll try to look it up on Google Maps and put it in the description. At any rate, the park is located in this funny little pocket. It's on 20th Street, just north of Thomas, on the east side of the 51 Squaw Peak Parkway freeway. And it's in this funny little pocket of otherwise unusable land between 20th Street, the 51 freeway, and the oh my gosh, I forget the name of the canal. I want to say Arizona Canal, but I know that's further north. But the canal that cuts, I can't believe I can't remember the name of the canal. Anyway, it's a major canal that cuts through here that has like a bike path on it, and so a lot of times I'll stop here just to relax when I'm doing a long extended bike ride or a long extended scooter ride, and sometimes when, you know, killing time. I'm not far from either of the schools that Lily went to, so my younger daughter Lily, sometimes I would be a little ahead of schedule, and this would be a nice place to just kind of chill and drink a soda and read some websites on my phone, you know, waiting for it to be time to show up at the school, when it just didn't make sense to go home and just turn around and double back here. Anyway, so that's where I'm at, and you hear the morning rush traffic. There's a couple of trucks down on the parking lot. I don't know what's up with that. I figure they're minding their own business and I'm minding mine, which to the casual passerby probably sounds crazy as fuck. Either that or it just looks like I'm FaceTiming somebody, which is probably what my girlfriend thought the other day when she walked in, and I was like, just shut it off. But anyway, yeah. So, gosh. Oh, as soon as the lighting above me keeps changing, there's a lot of street lights like this that come on and then go off, come on and go off, and I know I've read what causes that. But I know I've read what causes that, and I can't remember what it is, but I certainly see the problem a lot, and I do think it was a contributing factor in my car being vandalized in the parking lot at the 44, because there's only two two outdoor lights like this in the parking lot, and one of them is always off, and one of them turns on and turns off, turns on, turns off, just like this one. And nope, and look, it's on again. We're on again. Light. At any rate, yeah, after my car got vandalized, I was kind of shocked. The owner made no offer to help with that was my second week in there, and the owner made no offer to help with the expenses of repairing the window, which I'm honestly not sure how much it was. I never really looked at the invoice, and I know Rob at the same time, he had this Saturn, he replaced the window and also replaced my catalytic converter, so what I paid him was for both things. But certainly at this point I need to find out what the cost was for replacement of the window. I don't know, I just feel like there's some liability there. I mean, granted, when you park in a parking lot, you're kind of taking, the risk of your vehicle, of something happening to your vehicle. That is what it is, to a point. but I feel like there's some liability there on the owner of that lot. Not necessarily on the owner of the bar, but definitely on the owner of the lot, because they failed to maintain their lighting. They've got a light just like this one here, which I'm kind of curious about this light. I don't know if this one belongs to ADOT or the city of Phoenix. Like, it's technically in a park, but at the point where it's located, it looks like its purpose is to light the 51 freeway, or maybe its purpose is to light this part of the park to discourage homeless people from camping here. I really don't know. Anyway, there's just a marking on it as to whose light it is. Yeah, right here, 60. Here we go. I hate the mirror image that cameras do. I wish there was a way to turn that off. I don't like things being mirrored, but I'm not very good with smartphones. 6089A ADOT. So it's an ADOT light. So the Arizona Department of Transportation needs to fix this one. And whoever owns the parking lot, the strip mall where the 44 is, needs to fix theirs. And I do believe they probably got some liability there in the damage to my car. I think it's a lot less likely it would have been vandalized had there been lighting there. So on the subject of the 44, my original deal with the bar was I was supposed to get $125 a show plus a $20 bar tab. Now, food was not included because their food vendor was a contractor. So basically, that's not the bar. That's a separate business, and you know, she's not in a position to really be promising him, you know, his product to me in exchange for services. But I'm supposed to be getting $125 cash per show, and then $20 bar tab. I found getting the drinks to receive that bar tab has been exceedingly difficult over there. Sometimes there's not a bartender there, and then sometimes there's a bartender there that flips me a shit ton of attitude when I ask for a drink, which is not helpful. That's small potatoes. The big deal is I haven't been getting paid at all. For the last 6 shows, I've received a grand total of $100. And she's been making that payment directly to my bank account with Venmo, which is convenient. It's good for her. It's good for me. I mean, I'm all about making my services convenient for the bar owners. But you know, I mean, and I like that it keeps a nice written record of it, so I know, you know, where that money's coming from, where it's going. Not Venmo. I'm sorry, it's not Venmo. It's Zelle. I get all these services confused. It's Zelle, Wells Fargo. So anyhow, yeah. So she'd been paying me pretty consistent. Like, not when I did the show, because obviously she's in bed at that time. You know, by the end of the night usually. I mean, I get out of there typically like, you know, between 1 and 2:30 in the morning. I mean, I'll stay and work right till the moment the bar closes, as long as there's, you know, people there to justify it. But I mean, if they've already shut down the bar on that side and there's nobody coming over, there comes a point where it's like, yeah, I'm just wasting time and electricity here. Time to go. But yeah, so it had been pretty consistent. She'd pay me the following Sunday or Monday for the 2 previous nights, doing Fridays and Saturdays. And in the last 3 weeks, I've received $100, which doesn't pay my rent. So I've been very panicked about, you know, since I've lost. That's what I was going to talk about. I'm sure I've mentioned it in some of these other blogs. I've lost my government assistance, which I receive because I do have a severe mental illness. I actually got a dual diagnosis. I have 2 severe mental illnesses, and I'm, depending on which evaluation and which psychiatrist report you read, I've been diagnosed with some other ones as well. I was having a discussion with my older daughter, who is currently dealing, and out of respect for her privacy, I'm not going to give a whole lot of details about what's going on with her, but she's currently experiencing some of her own stuff, and eager to see what her diagnosis is. But we were talking about, you know, autism, and I know a lot of people. I've got some friends that have autistic children, and certainly in being in schools, I've seen autistic children in schools, and I know it sounds kind of cruel, but I kind of try to keep my distance from them because it makes me feel uneasy because I have enough of my own mental issues, and I don't want to cause them to have a negative reaction. I've also had a couple of my friends that have opened up to me and said that they have I'm going to say it wrong, Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism. And I'm not an expert on autism by any means. I do know it's a scale, it's a spectrum. Now I don't recall it. They used to not really talk about it being a spectrum, but nowadays all the everything you hear about it is a spectrum. It's a spectrum on the spectrum, and so that can range from someone with just full-blown autism, the guy that's got the earmuff, the guy that was at Allison's high school with the earmuffs, that if his earmuffs fell too much to the side and he heard any noise, went ah, and freaked out, and sometimes was running around the office screaming, which is, I mean, I feel for him. I feel even more for his parents. It's hard for me to relate to that. And then to people like my friend who told me he has Asperger's, who basically, from what I understand of that, is that he doesn't get body language cues. Doesn't. It's hard for him to understand sarcasm, humor, which is funny because the guy's got a great sense of humor and a great sense of sarcasm. Go figure. But anyhow, I realize I have some of those kind of symptoms too, and it's on a sliding scale. Like right now, I feel pretty even keel right now, and a lot of it has to do with some pressure that I was under being relieved, and I feel like things are starting to move in a positive direction again, as opposed to this time a week ago where I thought I was right on the verge of being homeless and living in my car, and the world was coming to an end, and the sky was falling. So, and I've always told my psychiatrist that my best thing of managing my symptoms is to my best thing of managing my symptoms is to maintain my environment to where I don't have stressors that just throw me over the edge. Sorry, I just suddenly had this reality check. So I just was prescribed pills, a mood stabilizer, which I was thinking, well, maybe that's helping. And I just realized I was supposed to take that at 9 p.m. and it's now going on 6 a.m. So, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes. I'm late. I missed it. Yeah. See, that's the other problem with me and pills, is that I'm really not very diligent about, unless I'm in jail or I'm in inpatient care, I don't remember to take my pills. I especially since this is the first I've taken pills in many years. So on that note, I guess I need to go home or maybe skip the day and do it again. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, my doctor is not very reachable, and I would love to call her. I wish I had a direct line to her right now to say, send her a text or an email and say, hey, Dr. Bunn, I took it at 9 p.m. I took it at 9 p.m. day before yesterday. First dose as he prescribed, and then come 9 p.m. the following day, I was not awake. I was not awake at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. I was not awake, and then when I did wake up, I don't know. I know at one point Priscilla woke me up to bring me some tacos, and I was really out of sorts, but I did eat a little bit, and I pretty much promptly went back to sleep. And then when I woke up alone, it's probably about 2:30 in the morning, maybe 3 in the morning. The last thing on my mind was taking pills. But yeah, I'd like to be able to send her a text and say, hey, it's like, should I take my pill now? Should I wait until 9 p.m. rolls around again and then try to get on that time schedule that you asked for? Initially, she told me take it every day at bedtime, and she's clearly confused me with somebody who has a bedtime or anything that's a concept of a bedtime. Bedtime is whenever I can find some time to be in my bed. Or someone's bed. But anyway, yeah, it's gosh, I'm rambling like crazy. No coherence to this. So anyway, what I was wanted to discuss, and if anybody's like who's listening 15 minutes into this, probably nobody. But so I've lost all my. I'm still getting my mental health coverage, and I'm still getting my would imagine regular health coverage. But I've lost my Social Security, and I've lost my housing assistance, which I receive because I do have a mental illness. Now, it's like, well, you can work. Yeah, I can work, but like when I'm having breakdowns, obviously I can't work, and it makes getting employment and maintaining employment very difficult. And there's been times where I've had pretty steady work, and probably I could have lived just fine without the assistance, but I've always kept it just as sort of a safety net, because I've had times where I've had breakdowns, where I've been, had inpatient care, or, where I've been hospitalized, and I've lost everything. And I finally get mentally stabilized, and I come out to, wow, all right, now I'm mentally stable, and I'm on pills that work, and I'm now homeless and unemployed, and yeah, this sucks. So I've kept it as kind of a safety net, but the funny thing is, like, I feel like being on it, because there is a limit to how much you can make and have. Like, you're considered over-resourced if you're making too much money, or if you're or if you have too many assets, and too many cars, or you actually, heaven forbid, actually get up ahead enough to actually purchase property, real estate, own your own home. Heaven forbid anybody own their own home anymore, or whatever. Then you're considered over-resourced, and you get it cut off, and which, like, I get that the government shouldn't be doling out money to people who don't need it when there's so many people who do need it. But on the same token, someone like myself, I need it when I'm not functioning enough to, like, when my head's straight enough that I can work and that I can do things. Then I really don't need it. But then when I'm having breakdowns and episodes, as I've been having quite a bit of lately, I need it. and it creates a situation where if I don't continue to get it when I don't need it, then it's not there when I do need it. I mean, this time around it's not there when I do need it, and that's a whole other deal of itself. But it creates a system. I feel the problem with that system is that it creates a situation where it's a safety net, and that's stability. It's a way to make sure that you're not homeless, and as like a single father, that my kids are not homeless. So, like, I don't want to lose that, but it also, by creating that dependency, and this is where a lot of Republicans don't like the concept of welfare, is it creates that dependency to where you don't want to do anything to lose it. And so, of course, and honestly, I've not wanted to do anything to lose it. Not like I'm trying to be dependent on the government, but just more out of fear of, hey, what happens when I start having, panic attacks? What happens when I start having schizoaffective disorder episodes? And where things get so bad that I can't tell internal from external voices, and that I can't remember one thing to the next, or can't really comprehend reality, and so, what I need it for when that happens, and my condition is not going to magically go away, like, ever. So, I need that, but I don't know. It just seems like the system there needs to be a big change, and I do like what Andrew Yang, if anybody remembers him, Yang Gang 2020. He was a Democrat running for president, not to be confused with the potato that got elected, but he was a geriatric potato that got elected. But he was a Democrat, young Democrat, as the person that was running for election. And the strongest part of his campaign was, wow, I hope y'all can hear me over this. It's getting loud up in here. Got a bird above me. I'm close to the heart hospital, so it's probably somebody in the children's hospital, so it could be a patient being transported. Anyway, I digress. What was I talking about? Oh, I was getting to something of substance. So he was campaigning primarily on a UBI, which a lot of people think is a stupid concept, but with the pandemic, the way it's happened, the stimuli checks, stimulus checks, have been what has been sustaining some people, and the additional thing that was which I never applied for it. I figured I was getting Social Security and housing assistance, leave that money for people that, I never paid into employment. Why should I be receiving unemployment? Why should we receive those are benefits are for people who were unable to work, that didn't have another safety net. And I feel like, since I had Social Security and I had housing assistance, there was no reason for me to be trying to grab for anything more, but those. So anyway, that's kind of what people have been living on, is a form of UBI. Now, I did like his concept that the UBI is there for everybody, and him saying, well, it's not as much a handout as it's an equal bottom level for everybody. And I like that concept. Like, if everybody has enough to barely get by, then you wouldn't have to worry about, if for whatever reason you just can't handle more than barely getting by, or there's going to be lazy people that's all they're going to do. There's always going to be lazy people that's all they're going to do. But I think it'd be better for those people to be in a dumpy little studio apartment and eating, rather than curled up in blankets and dirty and nasty and pooping in the streets because they have no access to anywhere else to poop. So there's that. But I think, like, I feel like I've had, in the last, I think I've been on, pretty much on assistance, for housing, and, Allison's almost 19, and she was 2, and, the years blur together. I forget how many years. Anyway, over a decade, maybe closer to over a decade, maybe closer to 15 years, and that I've been receiving these benefits for my mental health issues. And prior to that, I'd had some very, very bad episodes that involved inpatient care, and I question, as bad as my mental health was at the time that I got on it, if I would have ever got off the streets or ever got my shit together without it. There was no light at the end of that tunnel. But there've been times since then where I feel like I could have done more, whether that was, expanding my karaoke business beyond what it was, or just maybe other opportunities I could have gone after. And I didn't pursue them for fear of losing that safety net that was in place should I start having mental health episodes again. Anyway, so all that, I've lost all that, and I'm kind of on my own, and I'm not gonna lie, like, what's getting me by right now is my stimulus, and so I'm pretty much covered through April, and that'll get me through May, but I don't know how I'm sustaining myself in June. And I would imagine there's a lot of normal Americans that don't know how they're sustaining themselves in May, that are probably still trying to get a handle, they're, fourth of the way or third of the way, whatever it is, through April, and they don't know how they're handling May. They're just kind of going to work and going home and hoping they can wing it. So I guess I'm ahead of a lot of people right now, but it's still scary. And my additional worry is, what if I felt like I was ready for inpatient care a couple days ago. My God, I was riding a light rail with a bag on my head. So, yeah, and I don't know, that I won't be back. I won't be like that in a day. I don't know. It's a day-by-day struggle to keep my head together these days. Anyway, a lot of stuff I need to do today, and it's 6 a.m. It's first call. I think I deserve a beer. I want to run some stuff by my daughter as well. I was going to bring her a care package yesterday, and I had a chance to make $30 taking care of a dog that I love. I just love hanging out with the dog. So it's like, wow, $30 income, hang out with a dog. This is a win-win. So that ended up happening. And a good friend of mine that I've been trying to be in touch with just kind of randomly showed up at my place, that was some quality time, and he did that as well. So, anyway, nobody's spending 26 minutes watching this, so I should just end it. If you made it to the end of this, wow, thanks for caring. Sorry you're so bored that you're watching this shit. And I think I'm going to keep doing this. I feel like I have a better perspective on what's going on with my life. I don't know if anybody's enjoying watching it, but it feels good to at least get things out. Oh, and I saw my therapist yesterday, and I told her I was doing this, and she said it seemed like it's probably good for me as well. So, y'all have a fabulous hump day. Hope you hump. And I'll see you on the next one.